Hey guys, how are you? So I know we're in August. It is August 2nd, but still, this is probably the latest StitchCon update ever. It was over a month ago, and as much time as I thought I would have, I actually didn't over summer break, mostly because I decided to keep my daughter out of daycare because, I was home. I wanted to spend time with her, and, why have the extra, I'd rather save the extra money so we could do other things with that, multiple reasons. But I was home with her, so, really the whole day was with her, and then I'd be doing things with my hubby, like we would watch a movie and I'd be stitching, or we would be working on our house because, we moved last December. It hasn't even been a year yet, and there are definitely tons of things that we still want to do that we haven't quite gotten to do. So we used a lot of this open summer time to do that. So yeah, but I did want to get this video out before it's just even longer, and also because I will be starting up school soon, so I just wanted to share my experience. So I won't go super in depth into a lot of the stuff that everybody talked about because, well, I know it's been a while and this is really late, but I still wanted to share my experience. So I think what I'll do is I will keep this just like a StitchCon video, and then I'll do my regular update later. At the end of the video, I will include video clips that I took and pictures that I took so you can see that side of it. But I'll just share. So basically, StitchCon really started for me when the original StitchCon was announced, and I knew right away I wasn't going to be able to go. I was either pregnant or just had my daughter, so I knew there was just no way. Even if we traveled with her, it just wouldn't be reasonable. She would have been old enough to travel and go, but she was still just a few months old. She was sleeping a lot. She was dependent on us pretty much entirely. I was still breastfeeding, so it just wouldn't have worked. But as soon as they announced that there was going to be a wait list for StitchCon 2019, I just got on that right away, and I'm like, my goal is to go. I hope I get a spot. Now, originally StitchCon was 150 people. This year the upsized to 400 people. So I don't know if I happen to be within that first 250 spots, or if people dropped and I got a spot. But yeah, so I'm just really happy that I got to go. And as soon as I got that invoice, I didn't pay it right away because we did have a 2-week window, which was super nice, by the way, because I really had a minute to make sure that it was okay for me to send that money. It wasn't a ton, but it's still a good chunk. So I'm glad they just weren't you have to pay this in 24 hours. You got a couple weeks to do that. But if you didn't do that, your spot would be given to the next person. So I did get that within the time. I believe I texted one of my friends that I knew was on the waiting list, and she said she would pay the invoice as well, was gonna go. So I'm like, all right, at least I got one person. I believe that was around August, maybe the end of August, 2018. So, that's a long time to anticipate this event. Got my flight around December. I had great friends and a wonderful, almost like StitchCon mom. One of her friends she travels a lot, so she figured out her flight first and gave us that flight information. So 2 of us were able to get on the flight, so we were able to all travel together. So that was really nice. Which, by the way, those friends were EJ and Shelia, and Shelia is awesome. She kind of had a lot of stuff going. She even booked a room and offered for us to room with her, so she took care of a lot of things, which I was very thankful for, because I really don't travel that much in that sense. I've driven places with my husband. We used to do a lot of camping, but not getting flights and hotels and that kind of thing. So that was really nice. So come the end of the school year, I was prepping. Once it came up, I was ready to go. We decided to go up on the Thursday, and it was 26, 27, 28, 29, or 27, 28, 29, 30. Now, I don't even remember the dates, but it was that weekend in June. So we set up our flight so that we would fly in right when StitchCon started. Registration was at noon, and we got there around 11:30, so it was perfect. But it was such a long day for me. So I was ready to go. The night before, I didn't go to sleep super early, but it wasn't bad. It was maybe 10:30. My daughter had been sleeping great. It'd been awesome. Not this night. She woke up every 2 hours fussy. And, you know, when I was telling people, they're like, oh, she knew you were leaving, and that's why. And I don't know if that's why, but I was already kind of like, ugh, because it was my first time really leaving her for more than just like the work day, or, you know, almost a whole day, like if I did something after work or something like that. Never like overnight like that. So I was already kind of nervous about that. And it was crazy. So I think overall I got 2 hours of sleep maybe, because I had to be up by 5 so I could be at the airport at 5:30. Thankfully that went really well. I got some food right before we got on the plane. When we got on, we got to Atlanta, where we had to go straight to our gate. We waited maybe 10-15 minutes, and then we were on the plane. Actually fell asleep, thank goodness, on the first flight right away, because I was just exhausted. But it's not quite as restful as, you know, sleeping at night in your own bed. So one thing that did happen is I missed the snack cart, but I was okay. On the second flight, I was determined I was gonna get at least a cup of water or something. There was some rough air at the beginning, not crazy rough, but enough that they didn't stack the snack service till later in the flight. So I was all the way in the back of the plane. So by the time we were getting ready to land, they just didn't make it to me. So I was starving. And I know EJ and Sheila were as well, because even though they did probably get a snack, I think they did, it's still a long time because they didn't actually eat breakfast when I did. But then they had the snack, so it was kind of around the same situation. We'd eaten, but not a ton. I'd eaten quite a few hours ago. So when we got there, our wonderful friend Karen was ready. She picked us up. She had flown in the day before. We drove to Sharonville, which is where StitchCon was. Really cool fact is the way the highway went from the airport to Sharonville, we actually went through Indiana and Kentucky. Like, it kind of looped into the states. It must have been really close to the corner. I didn't really look at the map, but I'm assuming you have your Ohio here, and then it was at the corner where you had the two states, Kentucky and Indiana. So I must have looped like this or something. I'm not really sure. But at least for a few minutes on that day, I was in Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio in one day. So that's a pretty cool fact. Granted, we were only, you know, a little bit of road for a few minutes, but still. So when we got there, we were starving, and we'd been texting with our friends who were already there, Gary and Deb. So they said the registration line is huge. There's like 300 people here. You know, both of them, I think, decided to wait it out because they were almost at the point where they could register. But we're like, well, we're really hungry and we don't want to go stand in line for an hour. So why don't we just go to lunch? So we went to lunch. Gary and Deb had actually managed to register and set up the table, which was awesome. They were so sweet. They kind of reserved it. So when we got back, we had a spot. And we could all be together, but we ended up going to a Chili's and having lunch. Then we went to Target just to pick up a few items, and then we went right to StitchCon. So it was great because we walked in, went right up, registered, and were able to walk right on in. It was really funny because when I went to, you know, register, was Stephanie who was there, and I was just like, ah, Stephanie. But I went up and I'm like, hi, it's Carolina's son, you know, and I said on my whole, and she's like, I know. And I was like, oh. So it was really cool. But yeah, so we went in. It was like incredible. The room was huge. You'll see in the pictures. They had these power cords hanging down so that there could be some power strips for people to plug in if they needed to. And because of the way it was hanging down, it almost looks like, you know, when you go to those convention rooms or meeting rooms that are very large, or even reception halls where they have those mirrors. That's almost what it looked like, and those black cords look like the partition of the mirrors. And I was like, oh, like there's some mirrors there to make this look really good. No, that was still the room. The whole thing was the room, and it was huge. I'm like, wait a minute, those tables are a little different and those faces are different. This is all new people back there. So it was just, I was amazed by how well we all fit. It wasn't cramped. It felt nice. We were not super far apart, but it wasn't right on top of each other. There was plenty of walking space. You know, you can move around. It was great. When we checked in, we got our little chip for our smalls exchange, they split it up into 4 since there were so many people there. I happened to get a blue chip, so I was Friday at 4 p.m. But yeah, some of the goodies, I'll just show you the main 2, because I'm sure you've seen all the other little stuff, but the main thing was this bag. It does say StitchCon 2019 on it. I really love this bag. I mean, it was like made for Stitchers because you can really fit quite a few things in here. It could be projects, you can fit a Q-snap in here. An 11 by 11 will fit in there way well, no problem at all. Maybe even if you extend it to like 11 by 13, I don't think any bigger would fit, but you could fit multiple projects like folded up and stuff, as well as your notions bag or whatever maybe. And we also got this notebook. I haven't stitched in it. I haven't written in it yet. I'm not sure what I want to do with it. I guess I could have had people sign it, but I don't know. I don't know what I want to do with it. I like collecting some notebooks, but then they kind of just sit and they look pretty, but I don't write in them that much, which I really should. But anyway, so those were the main 2 goodies. We got some freebie patterns in there, and there was some information in there, an itinerary and stuff. So yeah, overall the experience was fantastic. What I wish I had done is I wish I'd talked to more people. I feel like I did go up to people that I wanted to meet. Some people it took like till day 2 or day 3, and I was like, all right, let me just go say hello. Which I know I'm all like on my videos, but sometimes, you know, just meeting a new person, even though you know them, you don't know them, so it's a little intimidating, you know, just a bit. So it was nice to be able to meet them, but I think next year, God willing, all goes well and I am able to go. I know everybody that attended this year is guaranteed a spot. Like, you know, they'll send your invoice, and then at that time you can say, you know, you either pay it or you say, I can't attend this year. And then it goes to one of the people on the waiting list. But I do plan on going. It is earlier this year. It's actually right after school, and so it'll be real nice because it'll be like a lovely treat. And I won't be like waiting a few extra weeks. And I think I really hope that everything works out and I get to go. And I hope that some of the people that I want to meet that are on the waiting list will get to go, and some of the other people at our local area will get to go. So yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, I was very thankful that I got to be with a lot of people from our LNS, the Cross Stitch Cupboard. You might have heard of that through the Sunshine Stitchers, Gary, EJ, and Shelia. I think it's so awesome that they're doing a Flosstube, and I think it's funny because for the longest time we were trying to talk, I think it was Gary first into doing videos, and he was like, nope, just not gonna do it. It's not my thing. I can't. And I think EJ really encouraged them too. And I've been doing Flosstube for a while, but I just don't have the ability to film every week like they do. So I think it's awesome that they've built up all this. I mean, people know about our shop, people know about our area, and we are, you know, a popular tourist destination. We have cruise ports, so, you know, it's really quite possible that we get to meet some of you. So that's, you know, that's always fun. But anyway, so they were there. I actually roomed with EJ and Shelia and flew on most of my flights. The only one I didn't was the last flight back. I got on a slightly later flight, and I ended up actually being on the same flight as Gary. And I didn't know that till we were there. But anyway, so Deb was also there. You've seen her on their Flosstube if you do watch it. We had Karen and Louisa there as well. I don't think they've been in the Flosstube. They live a little bit further from the store, so we do see them, but not as often. But we had our little South Florida table going on. The table sat 7, which was perfect because there were 7 of us there. Now, if all the ladies that want to go this year from our shop do get to go, we're probably going to have to take over 2 tables because there's quite a few of us. But yeah, it was really nice. So it was a very central table. We got to see a lot of the people. We got to see the podium really well. It was a lot of fun. We actually were able to see the doors were open on the left side of us towards the back, like the left back, and we could see into like the annex a little bit, which is where the trunk shows were, and you could do shopping. So for Gary, it was really nice because he could kind of see his Garin Toten Bags trunk show stand. He could kind of see how it was going. And we could kind of take a look and see when it was best to go. The annex was great. It was really nice to be able to shop right there. We did go to Keepsakes on the first day, but that was quite an experience. I loved it, don't get me wrong, but I'm like the only person on the planet that didn't know like there was a cat there, because I just hadn't been able to keep up with Flosstube as much, having, you know, a new child, being a new mom and having a new home, and just not having a lot of time and trying to balance a lot of things. Even when I am stitching, sometimes I'm watching Flosstube, sometimes I'm watching another show, sometimes I'm listening to an audiobook, sometimes I'm watching a movie with my husband, sometimes I'm on virtual stitchers. I've been doing that, so it's not like I can just film all the time or watch Flosstube all the time. So I'd watch sporadic videos of Pam and Steph, and I haven't been able to keep up every single week, but I guess it just worked out in a way that I never really heard about the cat. And when we got back, I was doing terrible. And I thought, I'm like, I'm just tired. I'm so exhausted. I'm running on like 2 hours of real sleep and then like an hour and a half-ish of like sleep that isn't quite as restful. I'm tired. But it was really starting to act more and more and more up, and I'm like, I just like my allergies, maybe there's something outside. And then somehow 310 came up. So they have a black cat at the shop. He is called 310. And I was like, what? Oh my gosh, of course. So I am allergic to cats. I can be around them like in a home or a space that has cats for about 2 hours before I'm just done. Like, I can't. And I will have a reaction anyway, even if I'm only there for 30 minutes or an hour. But after 2 hours, I cannot anymore. I just can't. But I didn't know. Now, granted, I was not there for 2 hours, but I was there long enough that affected me. And I mean, think about what a needle workshop is. You know, I'm sure there was dander everywhere. So yeah, that was an experience. So I don't know what I'm going to do next year, because I want to, especially if new people from our area go, I want to go there and experience that with them. So maybe what I can do is either go to the shop and wait for them outside, or do like a quick walkthrough with them and then just wait outside and make sure I have my allergy medicine and like nose spritzer and all that. I don't know. It's a decision I'm going to have to make when that time comes, when hopefully it does come. But yeah, just grab a little coffee, which, by the way, I have this cross-stitch mug I got last Christmas. It's really cool. I don't know where she found it. She's not really a stitcher, but she does a lot of thrifting. It's an aunt in our family. And so whenever she sees any like cross-stitch stuff, she'll get it for me, which is really sweet of her. But yeah, this mug is awesome. I don't know if she got it while thrifting or she just found it at a store, but it's Snoopy. The Snoopy obviously is just, but you can see that this is actual crosses, not just blocks, but crosses. So I think that's awesome. But anyway, yeah, so that was an experience. So I made it till about 9, which is when everybody said, so I made it till we decided to leave. But oh God, it was, sleeping that night was real nice, because the next day I just felt so much better. And I don't know why I didn't think to take a shower at night. I think I was just so tired. I just fell asleep. I can't remember that first night if I went to the late night stitching room, because I really wanted to go. But I know we went twice. So Thursday, Friday? It must have been Friday, Saturday. I don't think we went Thursday. I think we were all just tired. Maybe the ladies went. I didn't go. Pretty sure I didn't go. Kind of was a little bit of a blur. It's been a month and a little bit. But yeah, usually when I have those cat experiences, I come home and I take a shower right away just to get all the dander off, and that helps a lot. And I think I just fell asleep. But thankfully that and the shower the next day, I was okay. But oh, that was not the most fun part of the weekend for me. Alright, so Annex shopping went great. That was a lot of fun. The first day I didn't really get anything. I just kind of looked. I was on a bit of a budget. I mean, like I've mentioned a few times, we just got a new home and a lot has gone into here. I mean, it's not like it was a fixer-up or anything, but there were things we wanted to do, things we wanted to get. We had a fridge breakdown problem, quite like right before StitchCon, so that sucked, because that was a chunk of money that we weren't expecting to have to pay, that we had to pay. But anyway, I knew I could spend about $80. So that was my budget. I think I maybe went like $10 over. So I wasn't too upset about it. But yeah, so I got a couple fabrics, I got some floss. I'll probably share that in my regular update video just because that relates better there. But it was really nice to be there and be able to see all the stuff and everything, so that was enjoyable. The freebie table was crazy. Like, I took about 5 or 6 items, and at first I thought it was like a direct, like, if you brought 2 you take 2, but there was so much stuff that, like, I mean, there was so much stuff left when we were done, so I didn't feel as bad taking a few more things. I got a couple stocking patterns, which, you know, I have to stitch a lot of stuff. One I think has a leftover floss, one is just the pattern, but hey, it's 2 more stockings that maybe I won't have to worry about looking for one or purchasing in the future. I got a few charts, I got some fabric, so it was really great. The brag table, I did take a video of that so that you'll see that at the end, but there was some really, really awesome stuff. I will say in that video there's some Spanish and some English going on, because I wanted to share with my Spanish speaking viewers because they did want to hear about StitchCon, and there was just so many people and so much going on. I didn't want to have to do that twice. So that clip you'll hear some Spanish in, but mostly it's just pictures and just a few clips. I was not thinking about these clips the whole time. I took them all on the very last day. Was it either the second to last day or the last day? But the first day I just did not think about it. I did go to the late night stitching room twice. We were at La Quinta where late night stitching was. I think next year though we are thinking of doing the Hyatt and either getting a ride or calling an Uber. Even though the La Quinta Hotel is very close, it's not like on the same street type thing or even across the street. I mean, there's just no way to walk safely to it, so we definitely need a ride or an Uber for that, but it shouldn't be a big deal. Other than that, I mean, just a lot of what everybody has shared, a lot of great times, a lot of fun. I wish I'd sat and talked to more people. I think next year what I'd like to do is a couple of the Flosstubers / attendees that were there would jump from table to table. So that way you get to talk to people. I mean, maybe not everybody will be at that table at that time. I mean, I think actually that was the point. Like, there was an empty chair, they would go and stitch for a bit and talk. I think I'd like to do that next year. I think that'd be a fun way to talk to people without just going up and being like, hey, even though that probably would totally be fine. But yeah, so I hope this was somewhat interesting to you. After all these StitchCon updates you probably already watched, but I just wanted to share. So if you have any questions about my experience, or if you're thinking of going next year and you have questions about it, just let me know in the comments down below and I'll get to you as soon as I'm able. Have a great day, enjoy the pictures and the videos, and I'll see you in my update video. Bye! So this is it, Sharonville Convention Center, where StitchCon 2019 was held. Walking around, so you can see there's the Hyatt, which is one of the hotels that people can stay at. It's attached, so that's nice. But we stayed at La Quinta, where the late night stitching room is. So there it is, Sharonville Convention Center. And is it scrolling on? I don't see it, but I got a picture. There's a scroll up here that says, welcome StitchCon 2019. Let's see if it'll come around. It says, welcome to, and it stopped, the Sharonville Convention Center. Let's see if the StitchCon will come up. Oh, there it's scrolling. I know there's like a giant tree in the way, but there's the Stitchy Bus. I'll just insert a picture, I think. See you inside. Stitchy Bus. Stitchy bus. Here's our door. Entrance B to the convention center. Here we go! Sharonville Convention Center. Welcome Stitchers to StitchCon! StitchCon paid attendee event only. So I've come down the stairs. Here's where you register. They've got this awesome sign and our StitchCon pattern stitched up. Look how cool all the different finishes. I have to think of how I'm going to do mine. I definitely want to do, I think I want to do two. I'll do one with the horizontal and then I'll do one, like, you know, one line and then I'll do the two. Because I think that'll be fun. Registration. This is our takeaway, the final day. I did not get the video on the first day.
Wednesday.
StitchCon room. How awesome! Look at that. There's the back table. Puts a video of all this stuff on there. It's huge. 400 people, guys. 400 people. You know, when I first walked in, I thought that was a mirror in the middle. Nope, this whole room is all people. Those are just the hanging cords for the plugs, so we can plug stuff in. How awesome is this, guys? How awesome.
That sounds good.
I just wanted to show you that in the back room they have like a sign for us and flowers. That's just really thoughtful and sweet.